Welcome to Popternative, where we dive into topical discussions from the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. Here is your host, Peter Remoliotis, aka PD Beats.
Hello and welcome to the Popternative Podcast. This is the podcast where we have digital discussions in the worlds of pop culture, social media, and sports. We have a special one-on-one episode for you sponsored by CSE Games. I am speaking to one of the stars of Killjoys, a hot show on space in Canada and sci-fi in the US. She plays Lucy. I'm talking to Tamsen McDonough. Tamsen, welcome to Popternative.
Thank you so much. I'm very happy to be here.
No problem. We're happy to have you. Congrats for all the success with Killjoys. It's fantastic to see on social media everyone supporting the show, and people seem glued to their TV screens every time it comes on.
We have the best fans. They're so great. They're supportive and keen and excited, and they end up trying to think of they predict all kinds of storylines and character development. It's great. They get really involved and makes it really fun and easy for all of the cast and crew to get involved with them because they're so much fun.
So talk about how it came to be that you were going to play Lucy. I mean, take us through that. I mean, standard, like you auditioned, I'm guessing, right?
Yeah, I mean, so just for people who don't know Killjoys yet, yes. I'm sure for this episode they will all be watching.
Yeah.
Lucy is the AI spaceship who has quite a bit of personality and quite a crush on Johnny, who's one of the lead guy, who's also her tech and so on, even though she is not owned by Johnny. She's owned by Dutch. So I actually had moved. I'm in Toronto, and it shoots in Toronto, and I'd moved out to Vancouver. All my family's out there. And of course, very quickly after I moved out to Vancouver, I get the call for this audition in Toronto. So, but we were able to do it all via online. So I just auditioned. It was also supposedly, I hope I'm not quoting wrong, but supposedly they really liked what I'd done on another show called Lost Girl. The character was very snarky and very sassy, and but very flirty at the same time. So they really liked that, and they said, "Can you kind of do what you did there?" So, and I love that character. So it was very easy just to kind of roboticize. It's a word. We'll work with it. Roboticize the voice, and the fans have they love. I think they mostly love the relationship between Johnny and Lucy, and that it's this, it's almost a boy and his dog, but it's kind of different. Mm-hmm. The fans and the writers kind of got excited and wrote an entire episode where she comes to life. She gets her consciousness gets downloaded into a robot, a fembot. So that was really fun.
Yeah, and we don't want to spoil it for anyone, but just seeing what's happening this season on Killjoys, and there's been a lot of, I wouldn't say changes, but there's been a lot of character evolutions and character progressions throughout, and I know you can't speak for anyone else in the cast, but I definitely see whenever you see a show and every season, even if it's an indirect or direct change, there is going to be a little bit of a different feel from a character. Maybe they're in a different situation, that. So they're always going to be that. Do you find that as an actress, on a TV show especially, because movie it's different, but every season, even though you're the same character, it's going to have a different feel.
Oh yeah, I mean this season, they're barely on the ship, so. Lucy has definitely taken a smaller role because they're just not on the ship. They're out waging war. They're on different planets. They're bouncing around. So she's around. She's always there, but she's more just sort of in watch mode. But they're not on the ship, so there's not as much communicating with her. And the stakes are higher for all the characters. So there's there's still the wonderful banter and all the goofy jokes. Mm-hmm. But there's a heaviness to everything this season, which is pretty cool. It's great to see. delving into things. And, there's a bit of I think, a social statement as well, with everything that's going on that, clever writers, and these guys are very clever, are tapping into. So it's, they're just clever beasts.
And what I like too is, there's a lot of shows, out there from the sci-fi genre that are taking off. It's obviously a huge industry. Every year it is. You see it. It's getting bigger and bigger. And I think social media is a big part of that too. We'll get to that later. But what I think is hitting stride with Killjoys, Tamsen, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me, is, there's a lot of shows on, sci-fi and space and Netflix that are in the sci-fi genre, but none of them, well, not all of them are maybe specifically about or take place in space.
Right. Yeah.
Killjoys is space. So it has that nostalgic feel. People that are used to watching Star Trek and Star Wars, it hits that perfectly. It's about space, nothing but space.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they're bouncing around all different. There's the quad, and then they've now started to push beyond the boundaries of that. And you look at Anila Shik, which is just these special effects guys and girls have done an amazing job. This creepy, nasty looking kind of, to me, it looks like the jaws of something is floating around through space. It's this terrifying ship. And then you get cute little Lucy bouncing around. So it's so cool to see, any of there's space fights and chases and moving through asteroid fields. So there's some really cool sort of nods to Star Wars a lot. I haven't watched a lot of Star Trek, I admit. I'm a Star Wars person. So I love seeing the nods to Star Wars all the time. And just sort of, I think, really respecting the fans, knowing that this is something they really enjoy, and, working with that and having fun with it, and sometimes turning it on its head, which I really like too, taking a trope and spinning it.
No, there's just, but I got that from it because there's a lot of shows that have are about paranormal activity or about wizardry, and they're great, you know what I mean? But this is space.
Yeah, if that's what you're looking for, this is the place to go. And it's, a lot of people have compared it to Firefly, and nothing will ever be Firefly, but there's some really cool parallels between the two, and I think that that was a series that did not have enough time in the sun. It got off the air way too soon. And a lot of it left a real hole that people were like, oh, we need something like that. And so this isn't that, but I think it helps to fill that void a little bit. And so people were ready for it and salivating for it. So
did you do that on purpose? Didn't have enough time in the sun? Or was that just a coincidence? Firefly?
Oh, that was a coincidence. Why? What was the...
No, because you said that show didn't get enough time in the sun. It's called Firefly Flames, so I just thought...
You're right. Got it. No, I did not. Yes, I did. I'm that clever. Yeah, totally.
And I had a few months ago, I had Katie Ullman and Trish Rainoni on my show. They do a web series called My Roommate's an Escort. And someone that was on that, her name's Natasha Bromfield. She's also in Killjoys as well, reoccurring character. She plays Borna.
Oh, great.
So, and I was talking to her offline about Killjoys as well a couple of months ago when I was doing the show with My Roommate's an Escort. And she was saying the social media following just every day, not even every week, just goes up for Killjoys. It cemented itself as a big fan base on social media.
Yeah. Well, they're really good. They, not only are they working with great storylines and created these amazing characters, and like I said, really working with tropes, and not just to turn them on its head for the sake of turning them on its head, but because it makes sense, and because this is 2017, and you have there's clever men and women on these teams who are putting together this great stuff. And so I think that it's really striking a chord with so many people, and it hits a lot of buttons. It hits action, adventure, comedy, drama, relationships, siblings, and all kinds of relationships too, like sibling relationships, man and woman being friends. Just so many relationships that everyone can relate to something that's going on here.
Absolutely. And, we're living in a world now, where every day, there's tragedy, and there's so much wrong in the world right now, and I think television has every year been kind of like an escape. You know what I mean? Escaping from the reality, and social media is becoming like an extension of that, like an extension of that escape. And I think they go hand in hand, because there's a term called dual viewing, second screen consumption, where you see it all the time with Killjoys, because an episode of Killjoys goes on and people are live tweeting and checking out their phones while they're doing that. And I see a lot of the cast members, they're tweeting out things during the episodes.
That's true, yeah.
I think is fantastic.
Yeah, because we all, it's our baby. Like, everyone so enjoys this, and we're so invested in it because of the fans. And so it's not, what did you call it?
It's dual viewing. It's second screen consumption. This is my master's in communication speaking, because I did a whole study on that. But yeah, second screen consumption.
And I think that it's, so when you get, cast and crew and fans all tweeting together, it creates not just a passive watching a show and letting it flow over you. You not only have to think about it more because you want to make a comment about it, you're connecting with people at the same time, and not just cast and crew, you're connecting with other fans.
Yeah.
So you get people making predictions online and comments and getting upset or throwing in their opinions, or, all these kinds of things. So it becomes a very, it's not so passive anymore. It becomes an experience that you can really take a part in, however, to whatever extent you'd like. And so I think it's really an experience now, instead of just letting it wash over you. So I think it's a really cool thing. And I think sci-fi has done it the best out of anybody.
Yep.
For some reason. I don't know why sci-fi.
It's true. They do a really good job. And it's like something more to look forward to. It's like, oh, now we don't have to just look forward to a new episode of Killjoys. We can look forward to all the content that's going to happen online during the episode, right?
Yeah, you get people talking about, I remember especially first season, it was all margaritas. Everyone's going to shake down some margaritas, and we're going to do this and that, and talking about the snacks they're going to have and who's going to be viewing with them. And it's this very cool event, instead of just turning on your TV and watching a show you happen to enjoy.
Oh, I love that concept of it being an event. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Points for Tamsen.
Yay.
And so, but you're like many, you are an actress that has worked on, like, you have a lot of projects on the go all the time. Now you're focusing on Killjoys. Do you find sometimes, like, for example, Killjoys is like the main project you're working on right now, correct?
Yeah.
Do you find it hard sometimes to balance it when you have so many projects on the go? Or were you never in that position and you were kind of just like...
No, I would like to be more in that position. All actors are always, hoping to be, so busy. It's kind of a nice balance in that I feel like I can give enough time to each character and each show, but it's not overwhelming. Like I said, knock on wood, who knows? It's at a nice Del Roar. It's enjoyable. So, and I'm very lucky in that I tend to get cast in very diverse roles. So it's really easy to switch up between characters.
Mm-hmm.
Because they're so different. I don't tend to hit the same type of character all the time. So it's easy to go, oh my goodness, okay, so I'm a psycho killer in that, I'm a spaceship in this, and I'm a crackhead in this, and so it's fun and easy to switch between them.
That's interesting, because I had a conversation with Ronnie Blevins. He's an actor. He's in the new Death Wish with Bruce Willis that comes out, the remake of that, and he was in a bunch of other shows as well, and he always plays like he's saying the opposite of you. Like, he always plays the villain. Like, everything he plays is the villain, and he says sometimes it's a completely different villain. Right, like, it's a very calm villain, or it's a very like eccentric villain. But he's always playing a villain. So I always find it really interesting to talk to actresses and actors like yourself and like Ryan, to kind of get your different perspectives on how you take it, because that's why I made this show. I want to have conversations that you have to watch Popternative to check out this conversation. Like, you have to find out, if you want to know about how Tamsen balances her life as an actress, you got to find out Popternative, the behind the scenes access. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So no, I just find that really interesting. And when you say diverse, do you ever play, like, have you ever played a villain in something?
Yeah. Trying to think. I played, Psycho, a sociopathic type person, and I'm going out for something on Monday where she's, oh my goodness, she starts beating her children with a whip. Like, not a nice person.
Wow.
So we'll see if I book that.
Diverse right there.
Right there, while wearing a cheerleader.
Robot spaceship, and then that.
Yep. So it's and yeah, some people it's and I don't know if it's better to have something, a niche that you're really good at, that people know you for and people come to you for that, or is it better to be diverse and to have all these things and get put out for anything? I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just going with what cards I'm dealt.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's enough points for Tamsen. Cards you're dealt. You're killing it today.
Let's hope.
Yeah, and you mentioned that there are a lot of actors and actresses out there, and the point is to get as much work as possible. So I want to know from your perspective, because you've had a lot of success and you're working very hard. I'm very happy to see that your hard work is paying off. I asked my guests, I asked like athletes, sportscasters, actors and actresses the same question. Like, people that are interested in, are studying in school, acting or working on camera. From your experience, is there something, is there a specific, tip or advice from your past experience that you can give someone that's looking to kind of start acting, or maybe you don't want to because that's more competition?
No.
Like, some people ask me sometimes about, give me tips about podcasting. And I'm like,
right.
Okay, I will. But at the same time, I'm creating more competition. So,
Right.
But yeah.
I mean, the community's pretty, I find anyway, it's pretty supportive, to use that
absolutely.
sort of word. Yeah. And so everyone just kind of, because, if you're not booking, it's not because of someone else. It's because of you, or you weren't right for the role or something like that. You can't blame other people.
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the tips, basically, I would say, is that 99% of the time it's not personal when you don't get something. It's auditions are something, it's a part of our lives, and it's putting a word on it. It's rejection each time you don't get it. And so a friend of mine who's a big actor in LA, he was saying that work is doing the audition. That's the job.
Yep.
That's the job part of it. And you go in and then you walk out and you drop the audition at the door and you forget about it. And then, if you book it, you're like, oh my goodness, okay, what one was that one? Great. Okay, excellent. And then you re-look at it and go back to it. But you can't hang on to things. You can't hang on to thinking, oh, that casting director doesn't like me. And, I wish I could get that audition. You go in, you do the audition, you walk out, and you're done. You do, as good a job as you can do. You put in a lot of work and a lot of time, and that's the job part of it. It's not, oh, I just learned my lines and walk in there. So it does take, it's a lot of work that people don't really realize, I think, and you have to be willing to put in the work, and it's a high risk, high reward job or career,
And I remember, and this could also, I mean, being able to and being willing to kind of move as well, because that's a bit different.
Oh, yeah.
It's a bit different. I mean, well, imagine, no, it's not, because you started the show off saying that you moved for the show.
To Toronto to shoot it.
Yeah, exactly.
I came back for 3 or 4 months to shoot it, and then I ended up moving back anyway. But oh yeah, I mean, you have to be able to, if you're going to be shooting for 4 months or 6 months, or in Czechoslovakia, you have to be okay with picking up your life for 3 to 6 months. Something I enjoy, a bit of a bohemian kind of gypsy lifestyle, but it can be hard on some people. So to have stability don't be an actor. It's an unstable, but can be very rewarding. So you just sort of just go in with your eyes wide open. Don't take things too personally, and do your job. Be professional.
Well, that sounds good. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're gonna wrap up. Thank you so much for coming on the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
I have one last question.
Okay.
So, if people go on your IMDb, when you're not playing Lucy or not a character, you look like, one could make an argument. You don't, like, Lucy is completely, like, you sent me snapshots for promo, and I watched the show, and sometimes you're arguably unrecognizable sometimes as Lucy.
As the bot?
Yeah, like, I mean, the
bot.
Yeah, as the
it's a wig and my face. I think that's why I book diverse characters, is that my face is, without makeup, it's pretty much non-existent. Okay. There's no features, there's no color in my face. I'm a redhead, so it's completely whitewashed. You can paint on whatever features you want, basically. So, various roles. I was a crackhead one time, and people thought I was a crackhead. They actually thought they had pulled someone off the street, which is, a big compliment. And then, I think a week later I was on Incredible Hulk as this conservative, held together professor, so you just can kind of paint it on my face. And so, yeah, people often don't recognize when they see me as whatever. They're like, oh, that's not you. Yeah, no, I'm just showing you pictures of another person. Yeah.
So that was my question then. Are people recognizing you on the streets of Toronto? Like, oh, it's Lucy from Killjoys.
I don't tend to wear a lot of makeup just walking around, so I'm not recognizable when I do put makeup on. I'm very, like I said, picture to picture. People often ask me, is that you? Like, it's my features change drastically depending on the part I'm playing, the picture that's being taken. So yeah, I don't get recognized a lot. It does happen here and there, but it's not. No, it's great. It's nice. It happened when I was at Fan Expo. People started to catch me all the time because I was, with makeup and my picture was hanging, all over the place, so people could recognize me. But on the streets, it's nice. You just kind of do your own thing. It's good.
No, absolutely. Well, where could people follow you on social media?
I'm best on Twitter. I'm trying to get better with Instagram. I will. I promise. But Twitter is at Red Tamsen, RedTamsen, and that's the same for Instagram. Yeah, I'm on Facebook a little bit, but not really. So, yeah.
Great. Well, Tamsen, thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. And again, congrats of all the success with Killjoys, and we'll be checking out the tweets about the show, and we'll be watching the show.
Killjoys, yeah.
Absolutely. It's like I said, I'm a huge space fan.
Okay.
Like on Instagram, I follow NASA, and for people who don't follow NASA on Instagram, shame on you. It's probably the coolest account on Instagram out there, because they're always posting cool high-def videos and space and photos. Like it's amazing.
I follow them on Twitter, but I didn't even think to follow them on Instagram.
Their Instagram is amazing.
Yeah,
and you have to follow my dog, Little Leo the Murky, on Instagram as well, because he has a pretty big following on there.
Oh, no way.
He's got about 160,000 followers on there. So.
Oh, well, hit me up on Instagram.
Yeah.
As your dog, yeah.
Yeah. It's true. Everyone keeps freaking out sometimes that, like, they look at the account and they're like, there's always these dog pet accounts. So, bonus question. What do you think about that? What do you think about people making accounts for their pets and their children? Like, people make accounts for their babies. What do you think about that?
The kid stuff, I'm a dog person, so it's not, it's nothing I would ever follow is the kid stuff. That almost seems to me, these are little people who may not want their pictures out there later in life, but the dogs, they're never going to care. And dog puts a smile on my face every single time I look at a picture of a dog. So, you were talking about the world not being in, there's ups and downs going on, and you look at some great pictures of a dog and you follow these cute accounts. I'd say 80% of the accounts I follow are animals and and nature stuff, just because every time it puts a smile on my face. So.
Great. No, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's great. But yeah, thank you so much, Tamsen. And all the best in the future.
You too, and I'm sure we'll chat on Twitter.
Of course we will. And you can catch previous episodes of Pop Turnative on YouTube, on SoundCloud, and iTunes. Be sure, for people watching us on YouTube, please click the subscribe button, like this if you like the video, and please leave a comment as well. We really, really appreciate that. So,
and Killjoys is 8 p.m. on Fridays.
That is important.
Yes.
on Space and Sci-Fi.
That's right.
Perfect. Well, this is PD Pizza, Tamsen McDonough signing off for Pop Turnative. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Thank you for tuning in to Pop Turnative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Pop Turnative on YouTube. Be sure to like Pop Turnative on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.